Good morning. Again, this is Henrik. We are Wednesday, November 8th, 2017. I would like to speak to you of life, of course, the life that we are living, and of the courage to lead our life is the finest expression we can make of it. Life is a mysterious experience, for life manifests our individual soul upon this planet we call Earth. But if I may suggest, humbly so, and lovingly so, let us not try to understand life. Let us live life, and live it courageously, poetically, constructively, and lovingly. Let us not either try to understand love. Let us move courageously into love. Only then will we know what love truly is. And all that knowing of love and of life will come out of our experiencing the living and the loving. The more you know, the more you and I know that much remains to be known. Those who are courageous go headlong into their living their lives and into their loving of living their lives. The courageous among us, those that in their heart, in the core of their being, have a rage for living intensely and loving intensely and fiercely and beautifully, softly and gently as well. But the courageous among us search all opportunities of danger, almost. Their life philosophy is not that of insurance companies, of car dealerships, of beer and hot dogs while watching a ball game. No, their life philosophy is that of a mountain climber, a hang glider, an ocean surfer, a seafaring, sailing explorer, an extreme skier, a skydiver. And not only in the outside seas do they surf, glide, or dive. They surf in their innermost seas, for that is it not the most rewarding journey of all? And not only on the outside do they climb their mountains, whether it be in the Alps, the Himalayas, or the Rockies. No, these type of people, of which I'm sure you are a part now, these people, they seek the inner peaks of their inner journeys. But remember one thing, never forget the art of risking. Never. For in the risk is truly all the fun. Be courageous, but do not be foolhardy. Of course, do not take lethal risks if you can avoid it. Although death will always be part of life. and one lives most intensely when one is aware of the danger of dying. So let us always remain capable of risking. Whenever we can find an opportunity to take a risk, let's not miss it, and we will never be losers. For a loser never takes any risks, and his life is led but as a spectral ghost from birth to death, as if his passage barely counted and made no more difference than a stone cast into a river will leave a mark upon the surface of the water. Risk is the only guarantee for being truly alive. Let us commit as many mistakes as possible in our trials and errors, remembering only one thing: not to commit the same mistake again. And thus will we be growing in experience and wisdom and in maturity and in leading our life successfully. Life is not a problem, or it's not the problem. To look at it as a problem is to take the wrong step. It is a mystery to be lived, loved, and experienced. And who can become in love with life and truly be the expression of love? Certainly, if you're not aware of who you are, you cannot become love, can you? If you're not aware of who you are, then all you will be is fearing who you may not be or are. So you will become fear. And fear is the opposite of love. Remember, hate is not the opposite of love, as most people think. Hate is love standing upside down, as if doing a handstand and all the blood comes rushing to your head. Hate is not the opposite of love. The real opposite of love, as we all are increasingly finding out, is fear. In love, one expands oneself. In fear, one shrinks away from reality and away from love, alas. In fear, one becomes closed, fearful. In love, one opens, one trusts. In fear, one doubts, and in love, one recoils. In fear, one is left lonely. In love, one disappears into existing for oneself no longer, but with all else, including oneself. Hence there is no question of loneliness at all. When one is not, how can one be lonely? Then the trees and the birds and the clouds and the sun and the stars and the moon and the oceans and the rivers are all within us. Love is when we get to know our inner skies, our inner journeys, our inner rivers, our inner beauty. The greatest fear in the world is of the opinion of others, right? And the moment that we become unafraid of the crowd, or walking up to some girl, if you're a boy, to strike an initial conversation that may lead to a romantic adventure, or the excitement of when a man walks up to a girl, if you're a girl, of who he may be and how you may react, well then we are no longer a sheep the moment we are unafraid. Instead of being sheeps, and I love sheep so, we become lions, and I love lions all the more. The moment we are unafraid, a great roar will arise in our hearts, the roar of freedom. So we can either be a person who is afraid, who is a coward, ready to submit, to surrender, a person who, alas, will lose his or her dignity, for they will have no respect for their own special individuality and the preciousness of their unique being. Or you can choose to become fearless. But then you're going to be a rebel to the system. You cannot avoid that either. And they may deem you a renegade. You'll have to live a life standing on your own. So either you can be a man of faith and submission to the religious and political authorities in vigor, or you can become a rebellious spirit. What do you prefer? The word courage is very interesting. It comes from a Latin root, cor, or like French, cœur, which means heart. There is a rage of the heart. Indeed, to be courageous means to live with the heart, a heart aflame with enthusiasm, and let's say it, courage for living and loving. The weak among us, the weaklings, live with their head only, their intellect. Afraid, they create a security of logic around themselves. And fearful, they close every window and every door and set up barricades and watchtowers with theologies, conventional concepts, mashed out words, and given theories. And inside those closed doors and windows and vaults and fortresses with miradors, they hide. I feel sorry for them. The way of the heart is the way of courage. It is to live in insecurity. It is to live in love, the life of the bohemian, and to trust. It's hard to trust, but it's important. It takes courage to trust. A life of courage is to move into the unknown. It is leaving the past and allowing the future to be whatever it may bring to one. Courage is to move on dangerous paths. Life is dangerous, but only cowards can avoid the danger. But then, are they not already dead to life? For they are hiding from it, from its greater magnificence. A person who is alive, really alive, vitally alive, deeply alive, fundamentally alive, beautifully alive, courageously alive, will always move into the unknown, will they not? There is danger there, but they will take the risk of overcoming this danger. The heart is always ready to take the risk. The heart is a gambler. The head, with all its logic and intellect, is a business person, businessman, businesswoman, business. You have no business bugging me with your theories about love and life and courage and taking risks, do you? The head is always calculating. It is cunning. It is clever. It belongs to the clever one, that has been ruling this world for 7,000 years, that is about to see its dominion overturned by the wonderful movement for peace and freedom and truth above all that is now taking place all over the world. The heart, and aren't we so lucky to be blessed with the human heart and the infinite intelligence of the human heart? Well, the heart is non-calculating. The heart is all feeling. The heart is all waves, whereas the head is all particles. In the beginning, when people start off expressing their identity and their characteristics of their moral composition, there's not much difference between the coward and the courageous person. The only difference is the coward listens to his fears and follows them, whereas the courageous person puts them aside and goes ahead, full steam ahead. Damn the torpedoes. The courageous person goes into the unknown in spite of all the fears. Courageous person is not fearless necessarily. The courageous person is one that can deal in an environment with all his or her fears, deeply involved into assessing them, recognizing them, accepting them, and then overcoming them with the intelligence of their heart. Love will sharpen this intelligence. Love sharpens our intelligence, that's for sure. Whereas fear dulls our intelligence tremendously. Look how clumsy we become, for example, when we suddenly are faced with our fears, how we may react to one another. Especially in courtship, at the very beginning, between boys and girls and men and women. Who wants us to be intelligent? Not those who are in power. No, they want us dumbed down to serve them as slaves. How would they possibly want us to be intelligent? Because when we are intelligent, you and I and others, we will start seeing their whole strategy and all their games as tricks and deceptions, all the better to fool us and dominate us, exploit us, and erase us from being truly magnificent human beings. No, those in control, something they call the control monsters, they want us to be stupid and mediocre machines, cogwheels to their infernal factories and offices. They certainly want us to be efficient as far as work is concerned. Good boy, good girl, good job. But not intelligent, no, lest it be a threat to question their rule and their law. Hence, humanity is now living at the lowest, at the minimum of its incredibly great potential. We cannot be truthful if we are not courageous. We cannot be loving if we are not courageous. We cannot be trusting if we are not courageous. We cannot inquire into reality as true reality if we are not courageous. Therefore, courage comes first and everything else follows. Some believe that once they get everything done, then they can be at peace finally. I believe that if you are at peace now, this very moment, all other things will fall into place. Men and women cannot and should not be reduced to slavery if we are not distorted into fearing our cunning would-be masters and mistresses at first, the politicians, the corporate oligarchs, and the religious priests have been in a deep, deep, deep conspiracy down the ages, since the Sumerian Canaanites and the Phoenicians, the Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Romans, and all the Judeo-Christian religions, from the Jews and Christians, Mohammedans. These dominators, tricksters, deceivers, liars, cheaters have been reducing humanity to a crowd of slaves. But things are changing. They've been destroying every possibility of rebellion in a man or woman, and love is a rebellion, because love listens only to the heart and does not care the least about anything else that may contradict its feelings. If it doesn't feel right, they don't do it. Freedom creates fear. People talk about freedom, but they are afraid. And a man or woman are not yet a man or woman if they are afraid of freedom. I give you freedom, I don't give you security, says the intelligent heart. I give you understanding, I don't give you knowledge, feels the intelligent human heart. Knowledge will make us certain. It will give us convictions. But if I can give you a formula, or a set of formulas, that there is a God, and that there is a Holy Spirit, and that there is only one begotten Son, Jesus Christ, and that there is heaven and hell, and that these are the good acts and those are the bad acts, and to sin you will go to hell and do what I call virtuous acts, and you will go to heaven, then you are certain. But certain of what? That's why so many people have chosen to be Christians, to be Hindus, to be Mohammedans, to be Jews. They don't want freedom. They want fixed formulas. Formalities are thought to be sanity. The spontaneousness that expresses your individuality and the uniqueness of your essence and perfection is thought to be madness. But I say, just the opposite is our true reality. So be spontaneous. Have the courage to be yourself, even if you must stand alone for a while against all others. For that is truly the expression of life, as it wills its diversity and many treasures throughout the special and unique human being that you are, that I am, and that each one of us is. So may you be blessed with courage to overcome all fears. May you be blessed with love to overcome all adversity. And may you be blessed with all the love that is yours to live.